the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome, race fans, to the Talladega Super Speedway, where tonight we bring you a new series for a one-off event. It is the Premier Race Network and their Monster Energy NASCAR Cup campaign, again live from the high banks of the Talladega Super Speedway for 94 laps of what'll be white knuckle 2, 3, 4 wide racing, and even at times, I am sure. So want to welcome everyone to PTR TV on YouTube and as well on Facebook here tonight. And of course, giving you the calls and the action tonight is myself, Corey Silva. I'll be manning the cameras, and longtime colleague Evan Black will be giving you guys the calls here tonight. So, I mean, Evan, we've raced here on iRacing for quite a long time, and the Cup car, in all honesty, wasn't really the most exciting car to watch here on the plate tracks, but a lot has changed in a couple months, and well, it's going to be a completely different show.
Yeah, this will be the first race with this new Cup package here on the Super Speedways. With this, I think we got an extra 100 horsepower up to about 550 now, and an 8-inch spoiler, so that's going to really affect how these cars drive out there. They're going to be a lot more stable, and the suck-up from what we've seen so far in testing, it's going to be a lot more, and it's going to be a lot easier to run side by side here.
Yeah, I mean, in my personal experience, well, my plate endeavors here on iRacing in the past week have not really gone to plan, so I haven't been on track as much as I'd like, but in the time I did have, as you said, Evan, the suck-up, the draft effects from these cars, with those humongous spoilers we have, and with all the aerodynamic features added to the cars, it really does give you that suck-up. You will go 5, 6, 7 car lengths back, and you still feel like you can get that run, and you do. And I will strongly suggest, if anybody has not gone and watched the Peak Antifreeze Series race here at Talladega that happened about a week ago, if you're watching this live, they were 3x3x3 nearly that entire race, and I know we have a good group of guys here today, so I expect them to be able to pull off quite close to what I saw in that race.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if we're 3 wide for most of this race, just with how this package works and having a good 20-some car field here tonight. We could easily be 3 wide for a good portion of this race, and hopefully we do get to see that. A lot of green flag racing side by side, and hopefully not too many wrecks here tonight.
Yep, so again, given that this is a league we haven't covered before, the Premier Race Network, it is a league that has been around for years and years, over 15 years of competition in various simulators that this league has existed, and this is round number 10 in their schedule as they do mock the Monster Energy Cup schedule over the course of the year. So we can give you the point standings up right now and show you where everybody is right now. And you can see we have a tie atop the standings. Hunter Truel and Sherwood Williford are up top with 1388. And then we have Jeffrey Marble, Alan Bowman, and, well, that is the top 5, actually. Ned Adams, Jeffrey Marble, and Alan Bowman. Don't want to forget somebody.
And then in 6th, we have Wayne Grassi, about 40 points off the guy in front of him, and then 7th, David Hensley, 8th, Pat McWhorter, 9th, Tim Phillips, and in 10th, we have Jeff Bratton.
Yep, so Hunter Truel and Sherwood Williford, as we said, are tied 1 and 2. And I mean, while we know plate racing qualifying isn't overly important, just it does help in terms of the pit stall, having that stall towards the front of pit road. That can obviously help you in any racetrack. And as I go through the order here, as you can see on the board at home, Sherwood Williford is 6th right now. And Evan, we've only had, from what I can see thus far, only 9 of the, I want to say about 25, 26 drivers have taken time tonight.
Yeah, and with only a little under 3.5 minutes left, I don't think we'll see any more drivers be out here taking time, but I'm not surprised to see this. I know a lot of guys do want to end up staying in the back, but the issue is when only 9 guys qualify and everyone else doesn't qualify because they want to start in the back, they're not going to be in the back. They're going to be in the middle of the pack in the hornet's nest, and that is not where you want to be.
No, it is not, and I mean, Evan, we've tried... as we work together in many races, we try so hard to come up with a strategy for these plate races and where you want to be, what you want to do. And I think we've tried about everything, and I think just about everything has failed. So given now that we are in the booth and not in the car, what is the strategy for surviving 94 laps of Talladega?
Well, it depends. If you're up at the front, you want to stay there. But I think that's going to be really hard to do with this new package, because previously you could kind of get out front, get that single file, and you really didn't have to be too concerned. But with this new package, there's going to be a lot of shuffling of positions. So if it was me, I probably would like to say I'd stay in the back for the first 50 laps, but I know I'd be up there racing for the lead, probably for the whole race, and I'd probably end up getting wrecked. So I would say you want to stay in the back, but you can get wrecked anywhere at Talladega. There's
the proper mentality, and then there's the racer's mentality, and we know the racer's mentality comes out in all of us because, well, if you don't want to win, then well, what's the point of being on the track, in all honesty? So again, just kind of a little bit of a assessment of what's going on here tonight. The weather conditions here at Talladega, it's 75 in the air, 96 on the track. And Evan, I do know you told me from what you felt in these cup cars that handling later in the run may actually be something of note.
Yeah, in these cup cars, it does start to get a little bit loose in the tribal and in the corners, and on the X of the corners, it kind of starts to push the nose a little bit, so that's going to be something to watch, especially for the guys down on the inside. If they have a car kind of side drafting them after 20, 25 laps, they're going to have to watch to make sure that they don't push up and maybe hit the guy on their outside, or entering the corners also can get a little bit free. So that's just going to be something these guys are going to have to watch out for, and it's definitely going to affect pit strategy, I think, a little bit. You are going to want to go with 4 tires more than what you kind of used to. Just with this extra speed we're having with the extra downforce and power, it's going to put more wear on the tires.
Yeah, so we'll have to watch out for that and how the pack racing does kind of play out as the runs progress, because as you said, it takes one mistake in a 3-wide battle. You're not just taking yourself out, you're taking 30, 35 cars along with it. So again, we'll kind of keep an eye on that and kind of the race analysis that we're going to have for what we deal with in this series. Here it is open setups. There is a 17 incident limit, so if you make contact with another car, it's usually a 4X. You go off track, that's a 1X. Any other kind of car contact's usually a 2X, so if it adds up to 17, your race is going to be over. 35 laps is the fuel load, and, well, I wrote this graphic before I had that conversation. I said tires are a non-factor, but apparently from what we've been gathering, tires are going to be a factor, so we'll see how that plays out. But these guys are finishing up here, and it does appear as such that qualifying has completed itself. So let's go ahead and get ourselves onto the starting lineup and give you the starting grid here tonight from Talladega Superspeedway. The PTR TV starting grid here from Talladega on the pole is going to be, it looks like it's going to be Jason Anderson. Making sure that my grid is right. I'm not even sure if it is in all entirety.
Yeah, Anderson is showing on the pole.
All right, Gil Gauck in second, Mark Basso in third, Cedric Ingram in fourth, Tater Bowman in fifth, Steve Benjamin in sixth, and we have Sherwood Williford and Wayne Grassi.
And rolling off in the 9th position at the number 83 of Jason Spear. In 10th and 63 of Getty Buckner. In 11th we have Randall Ballard. And then Hunter Truel, Jeff Marble, Tim Phillips, and Jason O'Connor and Brad Bothwell in 16th.
All right, in 17th Pat Gorder, and 18th is Ned Adams. And we have Andrew Nichols and Jason Moon. Ryan Randville, and number 26, we made sure this is what his name is. His name is T-Man. And then a row behind him is Ken Ayland and David Hensley.
And then rest of the field, we have the 25, Craig Hawkins, 75, Blair Stevenson, and then Michael Adams, Jeff Bratton, Rob Denhoff, and William Holland rolling off in P30, rounding out this field.
And so that is going to be the starting lineup here today. And again, 94 laps. We talked about the incident limit. We talked about the weather. We talked about, well, the fact that this is Talladega. So, I mean, we saw what we saw in the real world today, which was kind of, single file for a little bit, and then they go 2-3 wide. Is there a point in sim racer world where you think that we will see these guys go in single? Oh, there you go.
No, we're not going to see single file tonight. I honestly don't think so.
Yep, and of course, if there is green flag stops, another important thing, slowing down from 200 miles an hour in the pack to, well, 55 miles an hour in on pit road in one piece. We saw Brad Keselowski have issues with that today in the real world. I don't think that'll happen today in the sim world, but again, we'll find out together as we come through 1 and 2 on the pace lap, and we'll get ourselves underway relatively shortly.
Yeah, I think we are going to have some green flag pit stops tonight, so we'll kind of see. We'll have to see who all did practice that and who kind of knows what they're going to be doing going into it, because green flag pit stops, especially here in at Daytona, they can be very tricky, because not only are you trying to slow down from 200 miles an hour down to 60, you're also trying to not hit the guys around you, and you don't know exactly where they're going to go, so it can make it pretty interesting.
Yep, so we'll kind of our last pre-race analytic. Evan, we have a new segment here on the channel that we just introduced earlier today. We call it the keys to the race. Evan Black, what are the 3 keys to the race here at Talladega?
All right, so they're pretty tough to remember, but key number 1 is survive, key number 2 is survive, and you'll never guess it, but key number 3 is also survive.
As we have 93.5 laps to get to essentially what matters, which is the last half of a lap, the last 1.3 miles to the checkers. But I mean, you can't get to that point if you're already wrecked out of the race, so you got to get through 93 laps to get yourself into position to be in victory lane. You got to find a teammate to work with, you got to find someone to work with, and you got to make everything happen to get to that point in the race where the money is distributed, the points are distributed, and that's where you want to be at the end. So the pace car is going to take the hard left into the pit lane, and per every restart in this series, they will be going on the green flag, so we will go all the way to the end of the Talladega Tri-Oval, and we will get this race started. So the long delay. We are waiting for the flagman to get this race underway. And there it is, we're racing at Talladega.
Fairly even start there by that front row with the 92 Jason Anderson. And it's going to clear before they get down into turn 1. We'll see if he stays down on the bottom lane. It looks like he is going to, at least for the moment. 85 of Gil Gauck dropping back a little bit here in that second lane. Might take a little bit to get momentum built up there. We'll see as now the 17 of Mark Mosso has now cleared for second. And if you guys drop him down below the apron to drop to the back here.
Yes, a couple guys just say, I don't want to be up here, I'm going to the back, and they will get to the back of the pack and just try to avoid what they assume is going to be a big wreck, but hopefully that is not what's going to happen, but we'll see what's coming as we come through 3 and 4. Get Anderson with the position on the inside groove. He has that help from Maso, and it looks like Gilgok on the outside in that 85. He only has help from the 19 of Cedric Ingram at the moment. That outside lane is starting to form, and when it does form, that momentum will wind up.
Yeah, I think here out of turn number 2, we'll see that 85 of Gilgok maybe side by side with the 92 here. Entering turn 1, he's getting closer, almost to the quarter panel of that number 92 machine here out of turn number 2 now. We'll see if that 85 can get a good enough run to get outside, and just barely going to get to his right rear quarter panel, and now I think that outside is going to be able to take the lead here out of 4.
Yeah, that 19 has a really good shove, and he wasn't going to go all the way to the back of the 85. He kind of stalled it out a little bit, being a little on the conservative side. That didn't give the 85 the run that he could have had on the outside lane, and that's going to give that inside lane of Anderson a little bit of chance to pull away. But typically what happens, the inside will get the advantage through the corner because of the shorter distance, and the outside will carry that momentum and persevere on exit and down the straightaway. So let's see who's going to get it at the stripe. I do think it's going to be Anderson still.
Anderson is going to get it at the stripe, but Gauck is getting closer, almost nose to, almost even entering turn number 1 there. Going to lose a little bit through the center of the corner, but going to try and gain it all back on corner exit. Looks like he is going to get a pretty good run out of 2. And once again, even there down the back straightaway as they get ready to enter 3, we'll see if that 85 can clear. Not quite getting a good enough of a push from that 19 that he needs right now. Entering 3, we'll see if he can do anything out of 4, maybe try and get the lead at the stripe.
But I mean, it's just we've seen the rules this series has in place to promote clean driving, and to be honest, I can see that right now. These guys are really, I think they're driving for what matters right now, and it's lap number 3. It's a very long race. You don't really see anybody bumper hooking, nobody really bump drafting, nobody doing anything that really doesn't need to get done this early in the race.
Yeah, no one's pinching anyone down. Outside lane is giving a lot of room. No side drafting quite yet. We will see that at some point, but right now everyone's keeping it nice, clean, giving room, racing with respect. It's nice to see.
It's kind of a something that I've said before. It makes sense and it doesn't make sense, which, I mean, in all honesty, I say a lot of that, but it's intensely boring. That's what I've sometimes called this. If you're a driver, let's just pick someone maybe on the inside lane right now. I'll pick the 83 of Jason Spear. Go on board with him. He's on the inside lane. He's stuck behind the 33 right now of Williford, and he has guys to his outside. He's stuck. He's literally just running his line, letting off, allowing for the checkups. He can't do anything. He has to be up on the wheel, but at the same time, you're just glued into a box. It's kind of, in a way, it is boring.
It's boring, it's frustrating, and it's very intense, all at the same time.
Yeah, if you just wrap your head around all those various concepts, it is what kind of happens, is we do have that pink and black car on the outside. Well, he doesn't want to play the boring game anymore. He kind of took a look at a 3 wide, or maybe he was trying to cool off the engine. That was a 63 of Getty Buckner. He was going for that 3rd lane, but nothing behind him, so there wasn't going to be any chance at a 3rd lane.
I did notice that it is very easy to overheat these cup cars here with this package, because you can get so close to their bumper and stay right on it easily. So these drivers are definitely going to have to watch out to make sure to manage those temps, because it doesn't take long to blow these things up. And maybe 3 wide here. It's the 17 looking underneath them. Enter turn 1.
Oh, yep, that's a tight 3 wide, 85 to the outside, 92 of Anderson in the middle, the 17 of Mark Massot to the inside. He's going to take the lead, and Anderson was going to be able to get directly behind the 17, and look at that 92. He's doing the pump draft. He's trying to clear them both of the outside line.
Anderson left the gap there through the trial, and Rousseau took advantage of that, and that put him to the lead, as both those top 2 already clear that outside lane of Gauck. So looks like that was a good move from the 17 to actually help that inside lane move forward.
It's almost like the old school tandem method. When you need to get that opportunity, when you need to make something happen, get someone right up on your back bumper and he'll send you for a ride, and that's exactly what happened. The 17 made the power move, 92 got behind him, and they locked bumpers for a couple of seconds and were able to clear. But now that 92, Evan, I'm pretty sure he's going to have a heated radiator in that machine, and he's going to have to try to get some air, because he's not going to get it right behind it. He's going to get it by going to the outside of the 17.
Anderson looking for a push from that 85 of Gauck down the back straightaway. There he's going to get it. Almost clear that 17 entering turn 3. Not quite. Now he is clear, but going to stay out there in that outside lane with the 85. Going to try and get a good push from that 85 out of turn 4. Try and get the lead at the line and maybe clear before they get to turn 1. Pretty close here out of 4. I think he is going to clear him.
Yeah, 92 is clear of the inside lane, but is he going to stay up with the 85 of Gauck? He's going to choose to stay up there, and that's going to give the 17 and the 33 and the 83 a chance to get wound up, and still the 92 is free to do what he wants. I think he's trying to take the 85 with him. The 85 isn't clear at the moment to do so, so that 92 is going to keep that outside. That inside is it is more populated, but they're doing such a good job up top that they are holding their ground up there.
Top 2 now clear of that inside lane, and here comes the 85 of Gauck underneath the 92 for the lead, entering turn 3. 92 has no help up there now, trying to wait for that 19 to get up to his back bumper. That is going to give the 85 the lead, and now the 85 is clear for that lead.
And Evan, this is something that's it is gonna be kind of hard to watch for our perspective. Is you saw how close they were working, the 85 and the 92. And 92 was holding on up top for the 85, and then the 85 just completely went by and made a pass. But that may not have been necessarily to break a team, kind of a team alliance. He may have just needed to get some air.
That is true. He could have been starting to overheat from giving that 92 that good push, and just needed to get underneath and get some clean air on the nose of that Camaro, and that could have been what he needed to do.
So we are on.
But I am going to say the 92 definitely probably won't help him out again.
Yeah, because he stayed with him for about a lap up there when he didn't need to, and you saw how quickly it was for that 85 to say, "No, I want the lead." But we are just about to take lap number 10. It's been clean and green thus far. We have, 27 drivers that are still in the lead draft. The last one is the 60 of Brian Ranville. He's hanging just to the end of the draft with Jason O'Connor. Jeff Marble in the number 51. He has just... I'm not quite sure. He's 7/10 off. I don't know if he's lost it or if he is just kind of pedaling it, but he's on the cusp at the end of the pack. And then we have Jason Moon in the number 42 machine, who is completely by himself right now.
And now we got the 33 of Sherwood Williford up there in the outside lane. He was down behind the 17, but decided to move up, try and get up there and go for the lead, but he doesn't have any help right now. That 92 is about a car length off of his back bumper. So we'll see if that 19 can get up to him and maybe try and push him up here back side by side with that 85.
Yeah, that 85 is out to about a 1 car length edge over the 17, which is not going to work out to what you want. You don't want to get too far ahead, because all that's going to do is allow those drivers behind you to get that run and try to do something with it. But Evan, that seems that outside lane, as we do have some 3 wide towards the tail end of the lead draft right now. It's heading back to the mid-20s, I do believe it is. They're 2x2, 3x3. But I haven't really seen enough organization from that top groove to really be able to hold a sustained charge. They really do seem to be rather separated, so as soon as there is momentum built up, it just immediately dissipates.
Yeah, there's only 2 or 3 cars up there right now, but the 33 of Sherwood Williford is side-by-side for the lead and actually has the advantage entering the tri-oval down the backstretch. The 92 gave him a huge push, got him side-by-side, and now that 33 of Williford is going to have the lead at the start-finish line. So we'll see if he can clear him out of turn 2 maybe, and if he does clear, is he going to stay up there and help out the 92, or is he going to drop down in front of that 85?
92 was locking bumpers with that 33 of Williford, and you can see, you got to be a little bit more lined up. They was off-center with that last push. I was going to get me a little bit nervous there, but everything is well and fine. So as they do continue to go, double file formation, Emma. We're lap 20 or lap 12 rather, and 3 wide at the back of the pack. I saw sparks, someone hitting the wall there. I think that's was it the 41 machine, along with it's hard to tell here from the distance, but someone was into the wall as there was a really tight 3 wide there.
Hunter Terrell and the 301 of Brad Bothwell are making that top line work right now. And as soon as I say that, Bothwell goes down to the inside.
But remember, 41, he is the points leader. Well, he is tied for the points lead with Williford, who's been up there leading laps. So, I mean, it is early in the season, but every point is valuable, so you do want to get it if you can. He's currently in 13th, started 12th, so he does have a little bit of work to do, but again, tons of time to do it. And here comes that 63 of Getty Buckner to the outside groove. And, well, as soon as he does that, Truel gets back in line.
New guy leading the outside lane here, Jason Spear. Slight advantage over the 85 of Gil Gauk. Coming through the tribal, we'll see who's going to get it at the stripe. It looks like it's going to be Spear. Just barely. But that outside lane, it looks like that currently is kind of the preferred lane.
Yeah, you're never going to get the run throughout the center of the corner, but you're always going to get it on the exit. And that 63 machine of Buckner, again, he's to that third lane by himself. And there is going to be that slower car. I believe that is Jason Moon. He is going to go one lap down just due to running by himself. So we may have to squeeze a 4-wide situation, and that is going to... that is always kind of a breathtaker when it happens, but here they come off of 4, just about to catch up to Moon.
See if Buckner can get in line before they come up on him, and Moon's going to go down to the inside.
Yeah, that was the respectable. He's actually going to come into the pit lane. Well, not sure what the move is on that, but he's going to come to the pits, and you can see Anderson in the 92. He's up top 3 wide, but again, nobody is really willing to make that third lane yet. Everyone wants to stay in line double file, which is the safer tactic, and there's a couple guys maybe thinking about it. You can see the 41's kind of, what do I do? What do I do? It looks like he's going to stay double file and send that 92 all the way to the back.
I think with Anderson, that move was more just to try and get some air on the nose of that Ford Fusion, but actually it's kind of working for him out there by himself. Now has the 63 behind him, but he's able to pull back up with that 33 on his own.
Yeah, just kind of using that little bit of a side draft on the right rear could sustain you a little bit. And he is really trying to do that. And here comes that 63 of Getty Buckner. And once again, he seems to be the guy who wants to make the move up front, up to the top of the racetrack. Now the 33 to the outside of Williford. He took a look to the outside of Spear, but the momentum wasn't there. And here comes the 92 up top. That third lane is cooking.
92 of Anderson leading that third lane with Buckner up there. Just 2 cars up there in that very top lane, but they are making it work. Now they're going to be 3 wide for the lead with the 92, 83, and 85, and they're dead even entering turn number 3. We'll see if that very top lane can get enough momentum out of turn 4 to clear for the lead.
Be prepared for the sting, because the Hornet's Nest is definitely active right now. We're 3 by 3 at Talladega. The front car is clear of the 85. He has a clear track to his outside, but behind him they are 3 by 3, 4 position. Lap 16. We haven't seen the pace car yet. These guys are doing an amazing job keeping it clean and green and putting on a hell of a show for us.
Spear had the lead that lap. Now the top 2 are clear. We'll see if they stay in that middle lane or drop down to the inside, but now 3 cars up in that very top lane. And here they come back side by side. 3 wide for second now. 2 wide for the lead with the 92 and the 83. And man, the outside lane is really working right now.
Once you get it up there, now you have 3 people up
92's
there.
clear.
92 is temporarily clear, and there's 3 people up there. That's Brad Bothwell in that 301. He's choosing to make that third lane work, so they're 3 by 3, about 3 cars deep, and now the momentum is actually going to shift to that third lane. Anderson is clear for the quick moment. Is he going to try to clear for himself? No, he's going to stick with those guys that have been helping him in that third lane, and here we come now. Anderson's clear once again, and is he going to stay in the third lane? Is he going to bail? He talked twice about it, but he's going to stay up top.
I think that's going to kind of mess him up a little bit because the 301 of Bothwell is back off in a little ways. He only has the 63 behind him, but actually he's still making it work. Had a good run out of 2 and down the backstretch, and almost clear of the 83. Still going to be side by side for the lead with the 85 down entering turn 3. And we'll see if the outside lane now has 4 cars up there. We'll see if they can get their momentum back.
Now, Evan, remember, this is an open setup series, so they can tweak their cars as they want, and you can make your car work better on certain parts of the track. We see cars that are better in the race. We see cars that are better in Q as the 92 loses the 63 who goes to the inside. So you can see drivers who really just have that thing geared and ready to go to work that high groove.
Now the outside lane's starting to get a little disformed. And I wonder if that 63 going down to the inside, I wonder if he was just starting to get a little bit hot because he had been pushing that 92 for a while and doing a really nice job of it. He might have just started to overheat a little bit and had to go down to the inside.
And sometimes it's just, you just need a little bit of a breather from running that top lane. You go 3x3 for so long. Sometimes you just need to take a breath. It's already white knuckle enough as it is, but when you're in that situation where you really have no room for a mistake, in all honesty, sometimes it just mentally drains you. I know it does for me. So now that 63 is kind of back in the middle now, where now he doesn't have to worry about the wall. He has to worry about competitors on both sides of you, which... I was
going to say, I'd rather be up top 3 wide than
in the middle,
on the bottom or middle or anything.
I mean, the benefit of being on the bottom is if something happens, you can cut a hard left to take an easier chance to avoid it. If you're on the middle or the top, you are just you're just praying for the best. But luckily, thus far, Evan, we are about half, maybe a little bit over halfway through a fuel run. We still have everybody in one piece. The only guy out of the race, Jason Moon, did choose to park it. It's going to be tight 3 wide through 3. It looks like a couple guys weren't quite sure what they wanted to do. It was a tight situation, but they all give each other room through 3 and 4, and we keep going.
Anderson leaving Bothwell to go down to the inside lane here. And now the 83 of Spear once again side-by-side for the lead through the trial. Looks like the 92 is going to get it at the stripe this time, but that 83 of Spear has a really good push from the 63. Going to have the nose head entering turn 1 and might actually be able to clear him here through the center 1 and 2.
We did see Bothwell on that 301. Remember, he was helping with that high lane with the 92 and the 63. Now he lost all of his help in that third lane. He's back to give or take about the 12th to 14th position. And again, I talked about it. We have right now everybody that is in the race, which is 28 drivers. If you're in the race, you're in the lead pack right now. Again, Jeff Marble, he is hanging back. I was kind of nervous about him earlier. He was hanging back about 6 or 7 tenths, but he's pretty much at the end of the pack. So everybody in the race is in the lead pack. I haven't said that many times, Evan.
Yeah, definitely not. But now the top 3 actually even clear of that outside lane. And 92 of Anderson is kind of taking a look to the outside of the 83, trying to see if he can get up there and try and get by him. But I don't think I'd want to go up to the outside right now, since that outside lane is starting to fall off a little bit.
Yeah, they kind of lost all the guys that have been pushing up top all race. They've lost them, so now it's going to be a matter of trying to get it back and get these drivers situated again. We also are within 10 laps, which is still quite a bit of time on a plate track, but probably going to start seeing pit stops within about 10 to 12 laps. So these guys are going to have to try to get those things sorted out. Who's coming with you? Where are you going to be? When are you going to be to the inside? I know I saw in the Peak Antifreeze Series drivers pitting around 30 laps in. This is going to be a 2-stop race, however you want to stretch it. So it is time to start thinking about what to do, how many tires to take even as well.
I think under green it'll probably be 2 tires, but if we do have a caution, I would want 4 tires for sure. But like you said, Corey, I probably expect pit stops around lap 30 and then maybe again around lap 60 or so. Since, like you said, it's going to be a 2-stop race, but that outside lane is starting to come back with help from that 63 leading the pack. They're now side-by-side for second.
Yeah, the 63 of Getty Buckner, he's been pushing this entire time. He hasn't really been in charge of a line. Well, that opportunity is right now. He is head of the pack up top, and that 83 of Spear is going to stay right to the bottom. He's not going to go for the block. He's going to give him that outside lane, and they're going to be door-to-door headed to the stripe. And let's see if that 63 can get a lap led on the board, and that answer is going to be...
It was very close. They were tied at the stripe.
And
it's going to give it to Spear.
It's going to give it to him. So we'll give that bonus point to the... actually, no, he doesn't get the bonus point. What am I even talking about there? So that 63, he didn't get his point yet. He's going to still try to go for it. Guys down to the apron. Not sure if they were just trying to get where they were going. Try to just get some air into the radiator. But you got to stay above that yellow line. We know how important that rule is here. On restrictor plate racing is coming through 3 and 4. Buckner in that number 63 trying to get wound back up on that top groove with the 19 of Cedric Ingram, and that is the number 94 of Steve Benjamin behind him. 4 guys very loosely working on that top groove. That's not going to get anywhere.
Yeah, I think the 4 of them out there is fine, but they just need to get closer right now. It's about a car length between each of them, and they need to get a lot closer than that. And they're starting to here, so maybe another lap or 2, they can get that momentum built up. Actually, they got it built up pretty well right now. Getting a little bit on those top 2, 63 Buckner, almost to the right rear quarter panel of that 92 machine. coming down the backstretch, entering 3, and now that outside lane is starting to get a bit closer.
Yes, it is. Now they are side by side with the third place car, and as we said, it goes in its spurts where that outside drops back and then it gets going. But Evan, I mean, we talked about before the race in the pre-race show, did we think these guys were going to start fizzling out and, you know, just kind of running it out and killing laps? And they're not single file, but I think this is as close to single file as we may get out of this race. But these guys definitely have toned down the intensity rate before as we get to the first round of pit stops.
And there goes Buckner down to the inside. And yeah, like you said, Corey, with the pit stops, a lot of these guys could just be trying to get down to the bottom, so they don't have to worry about getting stuck on the outside. But there's still 3 cars up there at the front of this pack, and another 3 a bit further back off of these front 3. And that 19 is still doing a pretty good job of leading the outside lane, but I think they just need a bit more cars up there right now.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get it at least for the next 10 or so laps. I don't really expect that help until everyone shuffles back out. And it's a lot easier to make pit stops in single file formation because, well, it's just you don't have to see guys cutting down from second, third groove. And I know, Evan, you have to really practice these pit stops. We know a lot of times the brake bias, you don't really think of it, you don't really plan of it, but we saw Brad Keselowski today loop it around on the entry to pits. We know it can happen in the real world. It happens in the sim world. You have to get locked down. You can't speed on pit road. You can't miss your stall, because if you mess up even by a second on any aspect of the pits, that could be the difference between you and losing the draft.
So what did we say about the 19 not being able to get up there and contend for the lead here?
Well,
he was side by side there entering turn 3.
Again, I said it before, there are guys who just have their cars set up to kind of wheel that top groove, and even without the help, he knows how to side draft. And just as these guys start to settle out and kind of get fizzled out single file, what we thought was prepping for pit stops, here they come to that outside lane. Now we have about 6 drivers right now fighting it up there, although the majority of the pack is single file. A couple of these guys are still ready to go, or maybe they're planning on later pit stops and just want to get out of that conga line.
Yeah, those 3 cars that were further back have now caught up to these top 3 on the outside lane, and it looks like some guys might be coming down to pit road this time. So we'll have to see if anyone does decide to. And here comes the 2 drivers down pit road.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that, and
probably about 3/4 of the field or so coming down there.
Yeah, it does look like a better part of about 10 to 15 drivers on pit lane right now, and that leaves up front still 11 drivers, I do believe, still on the track right now. Jeff Marble has lost the pack. He's kind of running by himself in the middle right now, but 11 drivers still in this lead draft. Everybody else has come to pit road. So now it's the question of pit road's going to be a lot emptier of a place next time by, so less drivers to occupy it. So this may be a better lap to pit, just to have a little bit more space to operate in between. And there goes Anderson peeling off. Here goes Buckner and 3 or 4 other drivers.
Spear coming down, look, Anderson coming down, Buckner.
Look at the 92 rather of Anderson locking him down. But he did get to the speed limit, but definitely put on a smoke show in order to do it.
See, it looks about 5 or 6 cars coming down that time.
Now we have 6 drivers still on track, led by that 19 of Cedric England.
Here they come putting down a lap. A few of those drivers that came down pit road on that first time, and coming up again on some more cars that already pitted. And now with coming through traffic, it could be a bit harder for them to get down to the bottom and come to pit road. It's going to be hard for them to do so this time if that is their plan, which I don't know if it will, or they could easily go probably about another 5-10 laps.
No, but I know you did mention earlier you kind of expected that the green flag strategy would be 2 tires. Well, I'm going through the telemetry data on these guys. It seems like everyone who has pitted this far has taken 4 and fuel.
So I guess everyone is thinking the tires are a bit more important, or maybe just with how long it takes to fill up.
It may
Since
as well.
These guys they do need a full tank. That is something I didn't really think about. They do need a full tank of fuel. So that could take about probably 10-12 seconds, and by that time you might as well put 4 tires on.
All right, so the first car on the track that has already pitted is Jason Spear. He is with Anderson. They kind of have a little two-car tango, about a second over everybody else. And now we need to see in relation to where the guys who just come out of pit road. Cedric Ingram is just coming out of pit road. Remember, he, by iRacing requirements, cannot merge on the track until he gets to that blue cone on the back straightaway. He is by himself. He cleared everyone by a long shot.
Yeah, and he might be able to hang on to the tail end of this second pack here. But that second pack, led by Ned Adams, is really closing in on these top two that kind of pulled away.
Yeah, Ned Adams in the 66. He's closing in on Anderson and Spear, who is now going to absolutely blow by that number 19 as if he's not even up to, doesn't even have full horsepower on that thing. That's the difference that it looks like, draft versus no draft. So he's going to have to really get right behind those guys, get those aerodynamic effects in play, get the draft slipstream going, and get himself up to speed. He should be able to do so right after the number 33 of Williford. But now, Evan, we're caught in two packs right now. This is the lead pack. These are the guys who had the first, the best pit stops, rather. It's going to conclude with Pat McOrder in the 84 car. And then we're going to go down to the 11th spot, and we're going to find David Hensley. He is leading a pack of 4, and then directly behind, essentially a pack of 6, as we have a car down to the apron. Is that Jason Anderson?
I think his engine might have expired. Yeah, he was pushing the 83 of Spear and just lost the engine down the backstretch. And no fast repair for these guys, so that is going to end Jason Anderson's night.
Wow.
Tough break for a driver that shows some really good speed here early on.
Yeah, and he was an aggressor, not afraid to make moves and had the car to back it up, but that's going to be his night. We saw it. I saw it in the PK Free Series. Evan, you actually saw Parker Kligerman in one of your races blow a motor in the middle of the pack. It's something very easy to do.
Yeah, that didn't end well for you.
Yeah, it did not. But it's something you get caught up in the moment, and you think, all right, I have time. It's flashing. I have time. Well, there's times where, you didn't have enough time, and unfortunately, that's what happened.
Yeah, whenever you see Parker Kligerman do it, it makes you feel less stupid about doing it.
Yeah, and then I think he was very apologetic about it, at least after the race, or mid-race, even in a joking sense. But they are battling for this win. Ned Adams, we haven't talked about him once tonight, but the lead is in his possession right now. Brad Bothwell trying to change that with the push from the 83 of Spear on that high lane. Now we have, 9 drivers in this pack after that engine expiring. And I do believe, Evan, that second pack with David Hensley, they're only a second back, so they're 5 cars that are kind of working together quite well. They should be able to catch them.
Yeah, last time by, they're about a half-second quicker, so now Bothwell getting down to the inside, and now maybe going back up to the outside. He's not quite sure where he wants to be right now, but that second pack is definitely catching up to these guys, and now bringing it up to about a 15-car pack.
And then the third pack, well, they're not working together at all. They were 3 wide. They're 2 wide, 2 by 2. About 8 drivers in that pack. That is all in the 20s, but while we do have time, I do want to give a couple shout-outs to some companies that are helping out with the league that kind of asked for a shout-out. The first one is actually, and I'm assuming that he has it on his car, so we'll find out right now if he does, Steve Benjamin, helping with this race in a sponsor seat on the ticker. ClickingWithCanines.com is a company out of New York, correction-free, science-based, and fun training methods you and your dog will enjoy, out of Endicott, New York. Clicking with Canines. And another one, SimMortal, which I didn't know about it till today, but I looked it up, and it's actually a really cool company. It does kind of iRacing paint schemes to real-life die-cast conversions. Actually a really cool gig right there. SimMortal, 2 league sponsors that help with the Premier Race Network. I know, Evan, I told you about that SimMortal, and you looked it up, and I said, wow, that's really cool. You looked it up. You said the same exact thing. That actually was really cool.
Yeah, I might need to get a couple of diecasts from them.
But that lead pack, Evan, well, it has, it was 2 little bitty packs, and now it is 1 big pack, as you said. And it is now 15 drivers, 14 rather. It looks like Jeff Bratton is the final one to 55. So 14 guys now in this lead pack as we are in kind of the natural stage 2 of the race. You figure the first stage was prior to green flag stops. Now second stage of the race is unofficial, just kind of breaking the race up into natural segments.
I call it stints.
Yeah, stints, stages, whatever. But that's where we are right now. We've broken up into 15 cars. We still have everybody besides now Jason Anderson and Jason Moon on the track, so it is not a good day to be a Jason, apparently.
Even if it's spelled differently, still not a good day to be a Jason.
Nope. And then we do have Blair Stevenson in the 75. He is the only car that is off of the lead lap right now. He is in this lead pack, though. He's third car on the outside in the 75. So if there is a caution and he's not involved in it, the lucky dog is his.
Or with the way he's going right now, he could very easily just unlap himself the old-fashioned way.
And then
he's up there, third car in line on the outside lane there, so he could get up there.
Well, the thing with Talladega is to unlap yourself, you're going to get past, you're going to have to unlap yourself once, and then again, and then again, and then again. And then, there we go, we're wrecking. The 19 machine. Saw him around. That's Cedric Ingram. The 84 machine, Pat McOrder. That's going to be the first caution of the race. And we were just talking about that 75. Let's see if he got through that to get himself the free pass. But let's take a look at what happened on that incident. Oh, there he goes.
I think there's just some bump drafting gone wrong with Brad Bothwell and the 19 of Cedric Ingram.
Yep, just a little bit of a right rear hook right there, and looks like the 17 of Mark Massot got involved as well. Go on board quickly with that number 301 and try to catch that hit live as it happened. Well, in the moment anyways. Yeah, he was right to the right rear, as if he was either trying to get air or maybe thinking about a third lane. One of the two events happened, and that led him to just getting into the right rear segment of the rear bumper. And again, we know how it is if you don't hit someone square. That's how it works out.
So that is going to bring out the first caution of the race here now on lap 39. Ned Adams up there in the lead, but I think he did get a little bit of right side damage. Yeah, it looks like he maybe got a little bit of right side damage from that wreck. Doesn't look too bad though. So I think he will end up being fine.
Yeah, I don't see anything overly, at least from the distance shot, nothing that's overly visible. So again, the draft kind of masks a lot of small issues that you will have. So as long as it's nothing drastic, he may not be able to lead a pack as well, which is obviously rather... It's not good if you want to win the race, but, you know, a lot of times we've seen a lot of beat-up cars still be in the top 10 of these plate races, so anything is possible as we do come pit road once more.
I will be interested to see here if anyone does take two tires, because that was only about 10-lap run, if that. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a few drivers take two tires here.
Yeah, you're only going to need about maybe 4 to 6 seconds of fuel given this short of a run, so see who does what. Comes out of pit road first.
Looks like pretty much everyone did do 4 tires.
Yeah, it's
Jason Spear, the first one out of pit road. Mark Rousseau actually ended up staying out there.
Yeah, he was involved to a degree in that incident, so I'm not sure if he was going for the lap lead or if he's just trying to go off strategy to a degree, but...
He said he was involved? Oh, I see any damage on that car.
I thought I saw him spin off to the inside, but I may have, in the moment, may have got the wrong vehicle. I've been wrong many a time, but...
Actually, no, he did get hit in the left rear, but I don't see really any damage. Maybe a left rear fender is pushed in just a little bit, but nothing that should hurt him too much.
Yeah, he does look good. I mean,
A little bit of left rear damage,
Yeah,
nothing bad though.
Yeah, the important part of a machine here on an aerodynamic track is the front. So as long as the front is good and the spoiler isn't completely destroyed, usually you can get by. The rear end damage lower on the machine usually is more cosmetic. So again, I think he'll be all right, but he's going to have 1/3 of a tank less fuel compared to his competitors. So that's going to be what his concern is, unless he is choosing to come to pit road. But while we are on the caution flag, we're going to step aside for the first side-by-side break of the race. So stay with us. We'll be back with you for the remainder.
Before you can get on track, you'll need to calibrate your wheel and pedal set. You'll need to do this in iRacing even if you have already done this using your own controller software. Prior to entering the sim, make sure you've downloaded and installed the latest drivers from the manufacturer's website. Once that's done, follow these easy steps to calibrate your controller. We recommend calibrating in a test session, so pick a car and then click test. Don't go into a practice or official session. The last thing you want to do is have you go on track and crash into another car. Once you're in your test session, click on the options button. You will then see input calibration. this is where your calibration takes place. Start by clicking on the steering button. You will then be prompted to turn your wheel fully one direction and then another. Make sure you place your wheel back into its centering position before hitting done. Now, you'll be asked to turn your wheel 90 degrees to the left. Make sure it's at 90 and hold it there while hitting done. For pedals, click on the pedals button. Here you'll be asked to press the throttle all the way down and then release it.
All right, we are back and ready for a restart here on lap number 42 as we close in on the halfway point in the race. Pace car is already into pit road, and here we are getting ready. The first restart after the first caution of the race. Jason Spear is the control car to the inside. We go green at the as soon as the flagman puts the green flag in the air, and there he goes. Here we are back for the first restart of the night, lap number 43.
And actually the 43 of David Hensley got a better jump there than the 83, and it's going to have a slight advantage entering turn number 1. We'll see here if that inside lane can get going a bit better here.
Yeah, typically that inside lane is going to be the preferred place to be on the start just because of the short distance when you don't have that full speed wound up. But now that outside is really cooking right now. Jeff Bratton, remember he was all the way at the back of the pack, almost losing the draft earlier. But he's ready to go now. He's up top, the second car on the top row, trying to push that 43 of Hensley, but they really didn't get a run they needed through 3. Lost about a car length and a half, but here they come with a surge off 4.
Yeah, it's just going to take them about a lap or so to get the momentum built up on that high lane, and as you can see, they have it built up now. Maybe going to get the lead at the stripe. We'll see. And no, Jason Spear had the lead by 0.03 of a second at that stripe, but David Hensley almost got it. See if he can next time around, but here through turn 2, they're losing a little bit of ground. See if they can make it back up out of 2 and down the back. I don't know if they're going to have enough of a run to do so.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. That outside is starting to form. There is a little bit of a shot at going 3 wide in the middle of the pack. One guard to the top of the track by himself with no help. He is going to go straight to the back, but I will say that 43, he is digging up there on the top, trying to get that run, trying to get that lap led. That number 43 of Jeff Bratton hasn't gotten that bonus point yet, and it's going to be a drag race to the stripe. Let's see if that 43 does get that lap this time by... yes.
By 0.16 of a second, David Hensley did lead that lap. Not able to clear entering turn 1, though. 83 of Spear is trying to fight back down that inside lane. I don't know if they'll have enough of a run to hang there. Down the backstretch, outside lane is getting a better run here. Good push from the 55 of Bratton. Gonna clear the 43. See if that 43 is gonna stay up in the outside lane for the moment. We'll see if he does choose to drop down here soon or if he's gonna stay up there.
Yeah, these are the times where you get clear. You have to decide: do I work with the guy that I've been that helped me get here, or do I just self-suffice? And we've kind of seen it happen both times tonight. That 43 really kind of doing the tight side draft through the center of the trial. Well, someone into the safer barrier at the end of the pack there. I think it was actually Bothwell.
Yeah, it was Bothwell. Just barely got into the wall but there through the trial. Kind of towards the end of the travel, just where the safer barrier sticks out there. But he does keep it straight. I don't think he has too much damage.
Yeah, he's kind of on the top of a 3 wide right now. That is all at the tail end of the pack in the late teens. They are 3x3, a couple rows deep. Your leaders still are double file formation as that 63. Getty Buckner, we saw him earlier in the race pushing that 3rd lane. He's doing it exactly right now. He's leading the charge up there. And that 301. We just saw him get into the fence, but we did see him as well doing a really good job pushing that 3rd lane, and looks like they're going to try to get it going here as this is crossed flag. What is it, cross flags?
Yes, cross flags score. That is halfway.
I always get those screwed up, but this is the halfway lap, and look at that outside lane go. That 3rd lane really is getting somewhere now. They're up at about the 4th car in line, and they're going to have a head of steam off of 2.
Buckner, Musso, and Bothwell all up there in that outside lane. And with how well we've seen that outside lane work, I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen anyone else really try and get up there. It's been the same 3 or 4 guys every time they get up there. No one else just doesn't really seem to want to try it.
Yeah, it is kind of a surprise, but it's a risk, and I just think that these guys are just really erring on the side of caution this early in the race. It's just, do you want to put that risk in now, or do you want to just, you know, as we said, you have to go 93.5 laps because that last half lap ultimately is all that matters here on these plate races. So I think it's just risk versus reward. Not enough of these guys are willing to take that chance this early in the race, especially with no backup cars. Someone pulling off to the back.
I believe that's the 51. Yeah, it's the 51. Jeff Marble. Apparently he didn't like what he was seeing up there. He just wanted to get out of it.
And he was one of the guys that kind of stayed to the back of the pack earlier, nearly lost the draft. And if he does that again, well, that's going to put himself in another position where he may lose the draft entirely. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But again, up front, Evan, these guys still digging at it for the lead. It's 3x3 for the lead. Buckner trying to hang on in that third groove.
They were 3 wide barely briefly there for the top 2 spot, or the first 2 rows 3 wide. But now the 83 of Spear was able to clear there, and now down the back stretch, we see if those 2 guys in the two outside lanes can get up there and try and get side by side, as they are now 3 wide and once again for the lead. But Spear is getting a better run through the center of the corner and might be able to clear.
Yeah, Spear is trying to in that number 83 machine. He is cleared just by a whisker, but that number 43 of Hensley is going to try to get that surge at the start finish in that third lane now, still led by that 63. He has 4 guys up there, but that 301 of Bothwell is a little bit too far back to really have a punch towards helping that line go. That 17 of Masao, he is the one helping that number 63. So it is 2x2 for about 2 rows. That third groove is going. Bothwell really wants to get up there on that third groove. Evan just doesn't have the steam to pull up there.
He does have a little front end damage from that earlier wreck, so that could be prohibiting him just a little bit to get up there and get to the back bumper of that 17. We'll see if he can do so here in a little bit as he's getting a bit closer, but out of 4, the 43 of Hensley is going to have the advantage through the tri-oval. Going to be very close at the stripe. We'll see who is going to get it. Looks like it is going to be Spear. Just barely getting it back there.
4 wide! 4 wide for second.
Now back to 3 wide.
Yeah, that 33 was in the middle while the 63 was all the way up in the third groove. And, well, 3 wide is dangerous enough. I don't think we need to do 4 this early. I think, and most guys seem to be on that thought process. So here comes that 17 machine, Mark Massot, in that number 17 machine. He's up top right now with the 301. That 63 who's been in the third lane all race. He's to their inside in the middle of the 3 wide. I think if it was up to him, he'd be up there going at it with him, but he's kind of stuck right now. Is that 63? Let's see if that 17, if he can do anything. Is the 43 going to go up top to block the momentum, or is he going to stay in the middle?
Now that very top lane has the 66 of Ned Adams up there with them, but right now the top 2 guys side by side right now for the lead. Then the very top lane, a couple cars back, but side by side still between the 43 and 83. We'll see if the 17 and 301 can catch up on the outside lane. Just the 2 of them up there now. It's going to be pretty tough for them to keep their momentum, but they are doing a good job of it.
Yes, they are. It's just a constant battle of patience, perseverance, because you may lose the momentum for a little bit, but you have to stay with it. Because if you don't stay with it, then I mean, you can't just kind of pick a lane for half a lap. That momentum isn't going to be there. You really have to stick and just try to just do whatever you can until you realize that maybe you don't have the people you need in that draft. And that 43, he's had chances to clear, but he's just really helping those guys that are working with him up there. And you can see he's up to that 5 car yet again. That's Wayne Grassi in the 5. And now there's a little bit of a gap to the inside. That third lane has completely fizzled out as we head down the back straightaway yet again. That 83 still in charge pretty handily of the lead.
And we're probably about 10, 15 laps away from pit stops here. The window will probably open here about 5, and then another 5 or 10 laps after that, I think we will see some guys come down pit road. And I don't know if they're going to need a full tank of fuel to make it to the end from here. So we might see some two-tire strategy calls. We'll see here shortly. But the 43 of Hensley is going to have the lead at the stripe. Finally going to be able to get that once again. And now we'll see if he can clear here in a lap or two. But right now, still going to be side by side with 83, who is taking the lead back here through 1 and 2.
Yeah, this has just been the form all night long. We've saw single file maybe for a couple laps, Evan, before pit stops. And just as I bring that whole topic up with pit stops, we're at lap number 54 now. And we did have that caution on lap number 15. But remember, no matter how you stretch it, it's going to be one more stop, whether you want to go on the earlier end or the later end. So do you just want to run that fuel cell dry, which will probably be probably about lap 80 now, or do you want to just stick with the original lap 60 or so?
I'd say personally between around like lap 65 to 70 is when I would choose to come down pit road, but we'll see what these guys decide to do, because you don't want to stay out too late and then where 5-10 guys pit and the caution comes out and they're still on the lead lap. You don't really want that to happen, where then you have to pit and they cycle out in front of you. So we'll just kind of see what everyone decides to do here. But the 43 does have a really good push down the backstretch and is going to clear the 83 of Spear, but going to stay in the outside lane with Bratton for now.
Yeah, that 83 of Hensley is the 43 rather of Hensley is really starting to make a charge up there, and he loses it through the center of the corner, which is kind of to be expected. But then you get
the 63 going 3 wide.
The 63 of Buckner. He's looking in the middle. There's nothing going up there, but the 55 Jeff Bratton, he's up there in the third lane completely by himself. So that is not going to go absolutely anywhere.
Well, it's going to go somewhere. It's not where he wants to go.
Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere in the positive direction. It's going to head him right back to the back of the pack, or at least till he can get back in line, which is, at the moment, trying to find him on track. I've kind of lost him back in about the 16th position, and he was just up there in the top 10. Still going back. I almost wonder if it was intentional at that point. But, again, up front, we haven't seen anybody, Evan, past that number 43, that number 83 anytime recently. He's been up front for now 25 laps, just kind of running that yellow line, and people have cleared him maybe for, a couple feet at the start-finish, but is it patience, or is that 83 just kind of lights out up front?
Well, a lot of those guys in the outside lane, they just kind of keep shuffling each other out. Like the 63 of Buckner just got shuffled out there, and then a few other guys got shuffled out earlier on, and that's not what you really need to do if you want to keep that outside lane moving. But now, with the 60 of Brian Rainville, they are going to clear for the lead. I don't know if he's going to go down quite yet or not, or if he's going to stay up in the outside lane. Right now, he's staying up in front of that 43. But we'll see here out of turn 4 if they can get enough of a run. And I think at this point, if you get clear, you just need to take it.
Yeah, we've seen the teamwork, the camaraderie, the gentleman agreements. They've worked all race, and as you saw at the stripe, it's going to be the 60. I think he got it.
Oh,
we're wrecking.
Wall.
That is the big one at Talladega. That's the better part of about 10 to 15 cars right there. Our second caution of the race. So let's go back on replay and try to dissect this one from the chopper cam.
That was just 2 guys going for the center spot there.
40 dove it in the middle, and he didn't have enough space, or the space wasn't there underneath the 43.
The space was there, and then it kind of closed up right as he got there. And then he just got to the left rear of the 43, and big hit for the 66 and the 5.
Yeah, you see Ned Adams just hard impact, kind of Tony Hawk riding the fence there. Try to get one more look at it from, if we can, on board with the 40 of it's Tater Bowman. That was the one that had that. He was back about 5 or 6 car lengths, and you could see the amazing suck up he had. And he went to the inside of Ned Adams, and he saw the run, he saw the opportunity. He did lift, but he just lifted just a little bit too late. and he had already gotten into the left rear of the 43, and we saw everything that went on there. So see the 19, the 33, the 21, 39, 25. Just a ton of carnage here at Talladega. So this caution, I mean, for those who are left, which in all honesty isn't going to be that many that are still in pristine condition. I only see 3 cars behind the pace car right now, Evan.
Yeah, only 3 cars up there that...
here comes everybody else, but they are...
Looks like everyone at least has a little bit of damage. There's quite a few guys that I think will still be able to be up there and compete for the win. But I think there's only 3 cars that have no damage. But with this pit stop, they should be able to make it to the end. Only about 34, 33 laps once we take the green. So I think they should be good to go to the end on fuel, and I expect everyone to take 4 tires here.
Yeah, and remember that we talked earlier, Evan, about how it does work here at Talladega, or how it worked in these plate tracks, is you do get some damage in these incidents, and it may take you out of the run for the win in terms of being able to lead the pack, but you still can hang in the draft and help other drivers with their moves, even if you can't lead the pack yourself.
Yeah, I agree. And even if you can't really lead the pack, you can still get the win, because if you're up there like 4th or 2nd, 3rd car in line, I think if you get enough of a run, like coming to the checkered, you could still pull out and get the win. It's just, if you're up there trying to lead for 5 or 10 laps, you're probably not going to stay up there. But you could still, if you get enough of a surge and enough of a run, you could still up there and get the win.
Yeah, you're just going to have to really just play
You're going
with...
to have to work for it a bit more.
Yeah, play with the, if you want to say, handicap that you may have been given with that damage. That's going to kind of have to be something to watch out for. But let's see here, Evan. I know we have quite the audience here. Well, not quite the audience. We have quite the amount of drivers, rather, in this race right now. To talk to. Let's see if we can find... we saw it with Jason Spear. Well, we do have him. Let's drag in Jason Spear. He's in 3rd right now. Alright, Jason, PTR TV, you got a copy, brother?
I sure do.
Alright, so we were seeing you a hectic race in 2-3 wide. These guys putting on a really good show. Only 2 cautions thus far, and we really saw that number 83 of yours yet hanging tight right on that yellow line and leading a whole bunch of laps. So how's that thing going out there and, from that 83 perspective?
It's going good. Everybody's running pretty clean. I know we just had a nasty one, but everybody's doing pretty good. This setup I got is pretty fast. It's handling really well. So if I got a good pusher, man, I can keep it out here.
Yeah, we were talking about that. I mean, you've run enough laps thus far and kind of get a gist of what everyone has. I mean, I know the field's going to be shaken up now with that incident, but do you kind of have, with this new package, a strategy at where you would want to be kind of headed to the white flag, or is it just kind of a where it is where it is?
Yeah, where it is where it is. I mean, I'm sure first place is kind of like a set and duck. I know a lot of these guys, but I don't necessarily have a teammate here with me. So I know Brian, he's worked his way up from the back up here, so got to deal with him a little bit. But hopefully I can hold my own here.
All right, man. Thanks for chatting with us. We'll let you get back to it, and good luck for the remainder.
Yes, sir. Come back anytime.
Yeah, so as we said, the open setups, he says he has that thing wound up the way he needs it, which, Evan, we kind of always stick to the fixed side of iRacing, so we kind of lose that side of it. You really can tweak your car. There is a lot of speed to be gained, and takes a lot of patience to dial in these setups. I mean, we see what these guys do with the NASCAR iRacing Peak Series, the Open Setup Series. So, I mean, it kind of makes me wish I had the knowledge to go and tweak these things and try to get those little bit of extra tenths out of it. But whatever he's got in that under that 83 definitely is working to lead this pack tonight.
Yeah, I don't have the knowledge or the patience to do open racing.
It's like, give me a set. I want to go fast. I want to go fast right now. And, well, at least try to anyways. Doesn't always work out like that. But, let's see here. I think we are on lap number 2 of the caution. So there's a chance that we may get the one to go this time by. And if not, because we do have, well, we had before most everyone on the lead lap. We do have 5 cars 1 lap down. And then we have 4 cars that are 2 laps down. And I can see right now that at least 8 drivers right now are on pit stops that are over 4 minutes long. So that basically means those guys are gonna be out of the race. And going through, we saw Brad Bothwell. He had a very extended stop. And Sherwood Williford, points leader, remember, tied with Hunter Truel. He had a very extended pit stop, and he is headed back to the pits once more. So again, it's going to be interesting to see who has these cars that are in good enough condition to be able to battle for this win, or at least hang in the lead draft. And the lights are out on the pace car.
Yeah, like you said, the 2 guys tied for the points lead, Terrell and Williford. The bad news is one of them had damage, and then the good news for both of them is that they both have damage. For a while there, Williford was having a better run, and that would have really hurt Terrell, but I guess thankfully for Terrell and not so good for Williford, he got caught up in that last incident, so they're both having some issues here tonight.
Yeah, so it's kind of whose damage is going to allow them to run better is the question. It's not going to be a matter of the car and who has the better car at this point. It's is my damage going to let me run faster than your damage, which, in all honesty, I've seen a couple of these plate races work out like that in the real world. I can't remember off the top of my head, but you'd see it in the mid-2000s before we had all the damage policies, and you could put, you could repair your cars with whatever you wanted. There was a whole pack of cars out in every single plate race that just looked like modifieds. They had no hood, no fenders, no nothing, and they were out there, 4 or 5 of them, having a little mini damage race within themselves. And, well, it is actually kind of fun in a way once you get over the frustration of it. But we are doubled up, stacked up, ready to go back green flag racing. We are going to be taking lap number 63. It's going to be Spear, Rainville, O'Connor, Mossau, and Nichols, your top 5.
And then the rest of the top 10, we have Ingram, Phillips, Bowman, Truel, Buckner, rounding out the top 10. So right now, Truel is having the better run with his damage, so we'll see if he can keep that up here once we go green, and what his damage will allow him to do.
Now, what will it allow him to do indeed, as he does, he's going to have to come from that 9th position as Truel, and we're going to have Williford in the 15th position, tail end of the longest line right now, coming through the tri-oval at Dega, again waiting for the flagman to wave the green flag a little bit further on into the tri-oval here, and waiting, there it is, Spear on the loud pedal, racing here again at Talladega.
Pretty even start by the top 4 there. No one with a real clear advantage entering turn 183 of Spear on that inside lane. Is probably going to pull ahead here early on through the corner. Yes, he will almost clear that 60. Now he is clear. We'll see how long it will take for the outside lane to get bunched up and working together. Only 3 up there, but then only 4 on the inside, and then a bit of a gap back to everyone else.
Yeah, we're going to have to figure out as the time goes by, where is everybody in relation to your leaders, and where are they going to be on the speed chart? Can they keep up? Can they stay with the lead draft? And who is going to drop off? How many are we going to have in this lead pack? We'll see how that happens in a lap or two as they get up to speed. 72 with the 60, O'Connor and Rainville to that outside lane. Mark Massau in that 17 trying to gain on them and help them as a third car in that top pack.
O'Connor, a guy we really haven't talked about much at all this entire race, and now in the lead. Is he going to stay from the outside lane, or is he going to go down and block the 83 out of turn 2? Looks like he is going to stay up with the 60 for the moment. And now the 60 of Rainville is going to clear as well. We'll see what are they going to do. Are they going to step in the outside lane? Here comes O'Connor and Rainville down to the inside in front of the 83, leaving the 17 of Musso out there all alone.
Yeah, he goes to help out, and he's left out by his lonesome here, so not what that 17 needs. Is he going to be able to get behind that number 68? Yes, he is, behind Nichols in front of Phillips, as we are now single file for the first 7 or 8 cars. We're double file back with Cedric Ingram with that 63 of Getty Buckner. And Evan, in every league I think we've ever covered on a super speedway, there's always one guy that we always know he's going to go to the top. He's going to go to the top. I'm pretty sure that guy is the 63.
Yeah, 63 of Buckner is always going to get to the top. And he's kind of the main one for right now that's still up here in the race with a competitive car that has always been up there in the top. And now the 83 of Spear going up to that outside lane for the 19.
Where he hasn't had to be the majority of the race. Remember, he led about 27 laps, mainly that entire second stint. He led it all from that inside lane, not really getting up at all off of that yellow line. So now he's on that outside with Ingram. And we'll see if either Rainville or O'Connor will go up to try to block the momentum, as we do have a little bit of 3 wide and the tail end of this lead draft, which is now 13 drivers. So it looks like it is Tater Bowman. Remember, he was involved in one of those incidents earlier on. He is kind of the tail end of this lead draft.
And no surprise, one of those guys from the third lane was Brad Bothwell. No surprise there.
Yeah, Brad Bothwell, he has been trying all race long to help them on that top groove, and whether it be the second line or the third line, he seems to be another one of those drivers who always wants to be on the top of the racetrack. And you can see the left front damage that the 11 has accumulated throughout this race, and that's definitely not going to help his causes out. But as we said, he may not be able to lead as well, but he is able to stay in and help, which kind of is all you need to do in this kind of situation.
Getting by a lap car there. Now the leader is single file. All cleared the outside lane of Spear for the moment, but Spear is getting a pretty good run here out of turn, or actually entering turn 3 here. Not quite going to be able to get to his right rear quarter panel through 3 and 4, and now the the 60 Rainville almost clear of the 83 there out of turn 4. Now coming through the triangle, 83 of Spear getting a better run through the triangle. Going to try and get up there and get next to the 72. Not going to be able to quite yet. See if you can through 1 and 2.
Yeah, he's alongside that number 8, alongside the 60 of Rainville with the help from the 19 of Ingram is that number 83. And again, we have about 14 cars in this lead pack. As they do shuffle it out, let's kind of show who else is on track after that incident. We have the points leader, well, tied at the moment. The points leader, Sherwood Williford, he's leading the, I guess like I said, we'll call it the best of the rest. That number 33, you can see that number, you can see there's a couple guys off of the lead lap, helping them. The 5, 41. So, not a lot of competition in that pack, but again, they're doing the best they can given what they have to deal with. So, we'll see if their cause happens, anything happens to help their causes out later in the race. If we're going to have another caution as we are headed to 25 laps to go, we are on right now. Down the back straightaway, not much has changed. We're still double file through nearly some 3 wide later in the pack.
Yeah, Brad Bothwell starting to work his way up through the field just a little bit. Has help from the 63 right now. Third car in line up in that outside lane. He has, like we've been kind of talking about, he has a little front end damage, but that's not hurting him from running second, third, fourth in line. It's just going to start to hurt him if he ever does get out there and starts leading the lane.
And that's just a decision that you have to make, is if you know that you can't do something, well, there's a very easy way to work around that problem. You just don't do it. So I think that's what the 301 is going to do. You can see, as we're on board with Bothwell right now, look at the rear end damage to that number 19 machine that has occurred over the course of the race. Obviously, he has been rear-ended rather significantly, but as you can tell, the rear end of the car doesn't really matter. It matters what's the front, and he is doing just fine. You can see speeds that these guys are running.
And if you look at Bothwell's car, you'll see the front doesn't matter too much either.
Yeah, if the air is covering your car, you're fine. If the air isn't covering your car, then you got issues. And see right now, these guys about 194, 195, 196, and through the center of the corner, looks like we're down to give or take about 191 miles an hour. So pretty steady pace here around Talladega. And we're getting to the point, Evan, where, I mean, there's still so much time to go. 23 laps to go at a plate track is a ton of time. It is just, it's an eternity. You make a move now, it's not going to mean anything. But this is the point where you kind of want to start planning in the back of your head. All right, this hasn't worked. I probably don't want to be here. Just kind of start coming through those little plans, having them go through your head, just trying to figure out where you want to be.
Yeah, and start trying to get your car into the position you want to be. Start trying to get, you probably don't really want to be the leader. You want to be second, third in line. And so you start trying to just get up to that spot and just kind of chill there for another 15, 20 laps. Wait till around 3 or 4 to go, and then you want to make your move.
And we know what positions you want to be in. I mean, we talked earlier about the intensity that's also kind of boring, and in all respect, that probably is the feeling right now. You have those guys, especially to the inside, where you're pinned in your spot. You have car to the outside, car behind you, car in front of you. You can't go anywhere. So it's intense. You're on the wheel. You can't make a mistake, but at the same time, you can't do anything. It's kind of just tame. You're just doing what you're doing. So you don't want to be there. If you want to go for the win, you don't want to be the 17 right now. You don't want to be the 68 right now. You're stuck in line. It's kind of better to be on that outside, because if you're on the outside, you can kind of make a lane in the middle if it's there, or, of course, just go to the outside and make a third lane.
I think right now, with who he has behind him, I like O'Connor right here. Because Spear, he's shown he has maybe a bit better car, but just with the guys behind him having that damage, I don't know if they'll be able to consistently give him the push he needs, like the 60 and the 68 can to O'Connor. But as I say that, Spear kind of goes to the lead a little bit there.
And obviously we've seen a lot of intensity in this race. We've seen guys cause some wrecks, go for some 3-wide, go for some side drafting, but we've pretty much more so seen some patience, kind of not side drafting too heavily, giving a lot of space, not too much bump drafting. We know that's all going to change in 10 laps, so as we say, there may be some guys that aren't going to give that push. We don't know how much they've been holding back thus far.
Very true. There could be quite a few guys that just don't really want to give a bump draft right now. It's kind of too early in their minds, which I agree, it's true. It's too early to really start getting too much pushing and shoving and side drafting, because it's still right about 20 laps to go. You can easily lose the race right now, but you can't win it right now.
Exactly. And as we have been talking about this race in its winding down stages, race summary thus far, we've had 2 cautions for I think about 4 laps, maybe one more than that, but we've had 26 lead changes, a very competitive race thus far, and that number most certainly is not done going up. I'd expect at least over 30 lead changes by the time this race is done.
And remember, those lead changes are at the start-finish, not per lap, so not like the 83 getting ahead of him right now. Yeah. It's at the start-finish.
Yeah. Official start-finish line lead changes, not unofficial lead changes. That would be through the roof at this point.
That'd be over 100 at least.
Remember, how many times have we seen that outside lane? Just, they get the run maybe through the center of the trial, but they lose it at the start-finish, or they get it off of 2, and they lose it into 3. But I am impressed, though. We do have more cars in this lead draft that are staying than I expected. We do have 13 cars, that's enough. We've seen in various races that you have, 5 to 8 cars maybe in a lead draft. And it's not enough. It's not enough to get that outside lane. You need 5 or 6 cars to get that outside lane. If you don't have enough cars left in the lead pack, there's not enough to make each line really work. But with enough cars that we have right now, we can still get 2-3 lanes going and each of them be competitive.
Yeah, looks like there's about 15 cars in this lead pack. 2 of them are a lap down, but 15 cars up there that do seem to be competitive. So like you said, that's going to make it a bit easier for these guys to get through wide.
It'll make it easier to go 3 wide. It'll also make it where that mistake will put you further back in the pack, whether it's getting the wrong lane or someone doesn't go with you, or if there's a wreck, you still have a lot of cars that can, you know, get involved with you and send you further back in the pack. So 18 to go. It's about 14 to 15 minutes of racing. Fuel should be good. Everyone's going to be on the tail end of their fuel loads, pushing about 35 to 36 laps. I mean, we haven't really pushed a full fuel load, Evan, so I'm not sure what the maximum end of it. We know they can go at least 30 laps, but they're going to have to go the better part of about 35 to 36, so I'm assuming everyone's going to be good.
Yeah, I wouldn't be very concerned right now about fuel. I think everyone should be good to go to the end. I'll probably be within 4 laps of running out, but I think they should all be good to go to the end.
Yep, so it's just a matter of, as we've seen all race, it's just getting yourself in that position. Spear has been dominating the race from the inside groove on the last run. Now he's been dominating the race on the outside groove. Well, at least dominating the outside groove, and they are going to come up to a slower machine that is heavily damaged. That is David Hensley, and that number 43 what has now become a modified. He will go high and out of the way, and they will squeeze 3 wide to his inside and pass him.
Now Bothwell moving down to the inside, leaving the 19 and 83 up there.
And we are, Evan, there about to catch a 6-car pack of damaged cars. They all are in a line, but that is again, a 6-car draft of damaged cars. So luckily they are all 2x2 right now, because they are going to have to get by that group of cars.
Yeah, they shouldn't be too concerned since they're only 2 wide right now, but if they were to go 3 wide, which I don't think they really will at this point, that's where we get a bit sketchy. So they should be good here, as they'll be coming up on them here out of 4. So all starting to move up the track now.
Yep, they will go out of the track. The tri-oval is the widest part of the track, so that definitely makes things a little bit easier for the leaders, as they will squeeze the 3 wide here. And looks like Rainville is going to clear the lead and go to the bottom of the track. That's going to leave the 83 out by himself up there. And the 83 is going to have to wait. I believe it's for the 19 of Cedric Ingram to get to him, and that's going to send him back just a little bit by about a car length or 2.
Yeah, the 19 of Ingram just barely now starting to get to that 83. So we'll see. Will O'Connor pull up in front of Spear? Or is he going to stay in line and just push that 60 car of Rainville? We'll see here as coming to about, I believe, 14 laps to go. Now Brad Bothwell up there leading the outside lane. I don't know how that's going to work out for him with all that front end damage, but we will see.
Yeah, I don't think the 83 of Spear really wanted to be in that position behind that 301, so he is really trying to get away from him as fast as possible. 301 really cut down very aggressively in front of the 68 of Andrew Nichols. But as you said, right now, that 83, he's waiting on Ingram, and that's really all he has. Is the 40 of Tater Bowman is rather far back off of the back bumper of those 2 cars, and either way, it's only 3 guys running that top groove. So now the inside of the track, everyone's just kind of killing time and not really trying too hard. We still have 13 to go, which, again, it's not a lot of time, but it still is still plenty of time. It's enough time on a plate track that any move you make now might be too early, and you're going to get repassed and have to do it all over again. So, but that 83, I wouldn't be concerned, but you definitely don't want to fall too far back in this line.
Yeah, all he has right now is
nobody.
No one.
Yeah, that 19 falls back into line, and I mean, maybe when he gets closer to the 83 where he can lock bumpers, he'll try to get up there, but that 83 is just He's on Gilligan's Island up there by himself, just waiting.
He's going to have a gap here. He could get in behind the 68. And no, he's going to step in the outside lane. He was clear there.
Now the 17 is down into the inside, so he won't be able to go down low if he wants to.
But he's still hanging really strong up there on the outside lane all by himself. He's pulling now back side by side with the 68.
Yeah, and then the 301, which I have a feeling if he was able to get side by side or clear the 301 would go directly behind him. But Evan, now we've gotten to a point now, the 301, he's down to the apron for some reason or another. Just look at this pack. It's starting to separate. It's not even just single file. There's actual gaps in between the cars, about 6-7 cars back.
Now that we're single file, maybe the cars with damage are kind of starting to show.
Well, their damage is kind of...
Their damage is starting to show a little bit more, I guess.
Literally, in terms of, you know, there's less... They're not in a huge wake of air in a 2-3 wide pack where the air isn't really going over their car. It's just kind of going over the whole wad, but now their car is more exposed to the air, which is obviously the aerodynamics coming into play, slowing it down. They can't hold the draft as well as they would need to. I mean, it could be a version of that. Now the 83 and the 301 are side by side, and that's actually letting the top two pull away by about a car length or two.
Yeah, we might end up seeing a two-car phantom here. The 83 is definitely faster, but that 301 is just... He's just kind of hanging in there.
I really think we are seeing a little two-car tandem up front, in all honesty, Evan. Look at the 72 and the 60 working. They have pulled by about a half second.
We'll see here now the 83 still not able to clear that 301. He needs to clear him so he can catch back up to his top two. 10 laps to go now.
You can see from the rear decklet of the 72 that front end damage on the 301, and that's not helping causes. I mean, don't get me wrong, they are still well within range to close back in on these leaders, but
they just need to get single file to do it. We'll see here the 301 going up to side draft a little bit. And entering turn 3 now, still just on his left rear quarter panel.
If you're the 83, do you want to keep fighting this up here? Or do you just get in line? And I think he's gonna have to get it. I don't think he's gonna have a choice but to get in line. But I think he's still trying to fight it and do it himself up there.
And now they cut back up to those top two. I wonder if O'Connor started to get a little bit hot there. And just had to back off.
Yeah, if that's the case, that'd be a really good chance for him to go to the top of the racetrack on Rainville and, well, A, go for the lead, and B, cool that engine off. He's not going to choose to do either of those things. Now that's Nichols working with Spear up on the top of the racetrack. And we have two cars up there, potentially three. It's 3 on 2 versus the inside with the advantage, coming to 8 laps to go. And this pack definitely is starting to separate out, and that's going to change the dynamic of what kind of moves you can make.
It's going to be a bit harder to get that outside lane working, but Nichols and Spear are doing so. Probably helps with that 301 having a bit of damage. Can't quite get it through that 72 of O'Connor. Here coming through the tribal. I think the 60 Rainville is still going to have it at the stripe, but it is getting closer.
Yeah, last time by it was very close, but as we said, Rainville still had it on the scoring pylon, so he's going to just persevere on the inside with the help from O'Connor. Bothwell trying to help with that inside groove. Oh, it was the outside groove. Now he's helping on the inside groove. He's now taking a little bit of a look to the outside with Spear, and just that 301. I think he wants to help the outside of it. I just don't think his car is physically capable in this spread out of a pack to help that outside lane in, as you said, one-on-one.
Now this whole pack is single file around the bottom. We'll see if the 83 and 68 can try and make a move, but I don't know how long they're going to want to wait, because if they make a move right now, it'd be really easy to get past right back.
It's just very interesting how we've seen this pack spread up. It was about 15 cars, and we have Mark Massot. Something must have happened that we didn't catch, because Mark Massot, he's now 35 seconds back. He was up there with them. Then Ken Allen, Jeff Bratton, all those guys, they've dropped back 7 seconds off of your leader. So it's just left us the 7 cars up front, and
Looks like they came to pit road. Fuel could be an issue.
Yeah, Maso, Bowman,
Rousseau
Ingram,
and
and
4 other
Marble.
guys came to pit road.
I told you. And here we
And
are.
here come a few more.
I told you we might have to worry about fuel. Here we come.
It's
7
gonna
to
be
go.
close.
So that leaves us Rainville, O'Connor, and Phillips. Again, it's about a 35 to 37 lap run to the end, depending on exactly when these guys pitted. Obviously, some of them aren't feeling like that's a possibility. The majority of them don't think it's a possibility. So it's just two of them right now, actually, because Phillips has lost the draft. It's 2-car tandem of Rainville and O'Connor. I mean, we don't know exactly how close they are. I mean, they could back the pace down a ton if they really wanted to, but
And they're coming down this time.
yeah, it's not even close. It's not even close at all. So now it's just going to be a matter of an amazing pit stop and who gets up to speed quicker. So it is the first car up to speed right now. Actually, we have Ken Ayland and the 55 of Jeff Bratton. They have...
And they pitted a lap later.
Yeah, they're going to be... For them, it's going to be a 34-lap run for...
They could make this, and especially they've been kind of off the lead draft. They could have been saving fuel.
And Tim Phillips, he has 8 seconds on them. He's working with the lap car of Steve Benjamin, the 94. He has 8 seconds on them, and he's been slower. I don't really see too much damage, so has he been playing the mileage game? It'll be 35 laps, which is probably about 2 or so laps longer than anybody I've seen.
We'll see here.
And then in relation to guys who have pitted, Jason Spear is not where he wants to be because he is the leader of a pack that is right behind him, about a second or so behind him. That's where there's about 5 or 6 cars. He's going to get swallowed alive and lose a bunch of time. So we're watching.
I really don't know who to watch.
So we're going to watch. We have 3 things to follow right now. Is the 21 working with the 94? Does he have enough? If he doesn't have enough, then we have 2 cars working at it of Ayland and Bratton. And then we have the pack. So we're going to follow them until the 21 runs out of
And
fuel.
Ayland is out of fuel. He's coming down pit road. So that leaves Bratton and Phillips out there.
And they have 30. He has 35 seconds. He can just he can run 3/4 throttle, half throttle.
We'll see here. 2.5 laps to go. Will Phillips still hang on to this?
Jeff Bratton is still on the track too. He's in second. He's 10 seconds behind Phillips. He's 10 seconds, 20 seconds ahead of third place. So 2 to go.
And here comes Phillips to pit road.
All right.
2 laps to go. So is Bratton going to be able to have enough fuel?
He has 25 seconds.
And Bratton is sputtering. He's coming down. So that's going to bring it back to the pack.
It's the pack. It's Tater Bowman leading the pack. Jason Spear in second. It's going to be about a 7-car pack to win this race, and there's going to be 2 laps to go when we hit the stripe.
Bowman currently leading this pack. Spear, then Musso. And when are they going to try and make a move? Are they going to wait till the last lap to make a move? Or are they going to try earlier on? We'll have to wait and find out. But coming to 2 laps to go here. There goes Musso and a few others to make a move.
We know how this package is, and they're catching a couple of cars who are off the lead lap, and they may be able to use them as a drafting advantage. Those cars are going to stay to the low line. It's the 33, and couldn't quite tell the other one. But it's going to separate them up just a little bit. And remember, once we get to the white flag, we race to the checkers. There is no caution once the white flag is in the air. There's single file now, and you know it's not going to stay that way. Watch out for that 19, Evan. He's laying back. You know he's trying to get a run.
I don't know if this run might be a bit too early, but we will see. Out of turn 4, coming to the white flag. We'll see. When are they going to try and make a move?
All right, the 40 is really going to have to mirror drive because He's going to be at a disadvantage being the leader of the race. The white flag is in the air. Here comes that 19 with the 60 of Rainville on the outside.
3 cars up there in that outside lane, the 19, the 60, and the 72. We'll see 83 hits the issue. Did he not take enough fuel?
83 doesn't, he's slow on the back straightaway.
That's going to hurt the inside lane, so that's going to give the lead to 19 of Cedric Ingram.
Yeah, and Rainville's not going to be able to clear. He's going to be on the outside. The 17 goes around. He's out of it. 60 is to the outside by himself. That's Rainville, but he still has some momentum. He's trying to make a move by himself. Now he has the 72 of O'Connor. It's going to be a 2v2 race to the checkers. 2 up top, 2 to the bottom. It's going to be Ingram. It's going to be Rainville. Who's going to get it at the stripe? Photo finish. It's going to be Rainville.
By 300ths of a second, it goes to Rainville.
Brian Rainville in the number 60 machine wins this race by 3/100ths of a second. We gotta go back and watch that again. We're gonna go back to about, here we come off of 2. You can see, here they come, the 19 had it. And then he lost it. He lost that momentum, and here they come to the stripe. Actually, I'm gonna try to get this in slow motion if I can, and we can really see what this margin is gonna be. You can see the 72 off of 4. He really had that surge, and he could have, in all honesty, went for the 3 wide, Evan. He chose to stay with the 60. The 40 kind of gave a little bit of a push there. And here's that run to the checkers. And that is going to be our margin of victory right here for Brian Rainville. So that was a hell of a finish. And let's go and give you the final running order of tonight's action. And we'll start the post-race interviews here tonight from Talladega Superspeedway. So with the victory here tonight, leading 11 laps, Brian Rainville in photo finish over Cedric Ingram, led 2 laps for second. Jason O'Connor finished in third. Tater Bowman with a fourth. Andrew Nichols in fifth. And we had Brad Bothwell, Tim Phillips, Getty Buckner, Ken Allen, and Jeff Bratton, your top 10.
And coming home in 11th after his late race crash, Mark Rousseau in 12th. The 83 of Jason Spear, after running out of fuel there out of turn 2, he managed to coast it back to the start finish, but comes home in 12th, last car on the lead lap. And in 13th, we have Jeff Marble. 14th, points leader Hunter Terrell. 15th, Blair Stevenson, and then rest of the top 20, Stephen Benjamin, Sherwood Williford, Rob Denhoff, and Randall Ballard, and T-Man, rounding out the top 20.
T-Man.
T-Man.
And then rounding out your field here tonight was Wayne Grassy, David Hensley in 22nd, Michael Adams in 23rd, Craig Hawkins in 24th, Ned Adams in 25th, Gil Gock in 26th, Pat McWhorter in 27th, and then Jason Anderson and Jason Moon round out your field. William Holland did not take to the grid here tonight. And it looks as if we have your winner and we have third place to talk to. I don't see the 19 available, so well, we'll talk to who we have. I think Evan has caught up with third place of Jason O'Connor.
Well, Jason, you come in with a third place finish after this crazy Talladega race. What are your thoughts after this race?
Well, it went very well. Me and Brian there, we were just riding around in the back there, just kind of taking our time and waiting for the right time to get up there, and we got up there at the right time, and we were able to hold them off.
Yeah, this race, it went really green flag feel to it. It only had, I believe, 2 cautions. Did you kind of expect that coming in, or with it being Talladega, did you think it'd have a bit more cautions?
Truth be told, I expected more cautions. You kind of have to just assume that way with Talladega a lot of the times. So I was kind of prepared and kind of already thinking that way. So when we got those long green flag runs there, and then those, that last stop at the end there for a splash and go, I wasn't really expecting that.
Yeah, and on that last run, I know I thought you guys would have been good to go to the end on fuel. Did you kind of know that whole run that you were going to be needing to come down for a quick top off, or was that kind of something you just noticed with 5 or 10 to go?
No, we knew it from the beginning, and we were going to try to get lined up behind somebody and try to save some fuel and work that angle. But we got that good run there on the beginning, and I got to the high side, and he pushed me to the lead there, and then we got down. It just, there was no way that we were going to save any fuel from that point on.
All right, well, is anyone you would like to thank or give a shout out to after your 3rd place finish?
Just thank the league. They're real good, everybody in it, and thank Brian for letting me tag along and push him to the win.
All right, thanks for talking with us, and congrats on your 3rd place finish.
Thank you guys, appreciate what you do.
All right, then looks like we do not have 2nd place finisher Cedric Ingram, so Corey has caught up with your winner, Brian Rainville.
All right, Brian, I mean, you won it in absolutely thrilling style there in that photo finish at the end, and we saw you kind of do a bunch of different things here tonight. We saw the first run of the race, you kind of laid back and just kind of waited to see if something was going to happen. But then we got the long green flag run at pit stops, and you kind of stayed up there all race, and you showed your card when it really mattered at the end. So just kind of talk about what it was like for you here tonight.
Well, obviously it's a fantastic feeling getting a win here, and this league is a very tall order at any track, so very proud of that. Like to thank Jason O'Connor, worked with him all night long, and as well as Ned Adams and the boys. But you're right, I started out staying at the back. I believe I went to the back on the first caution, and then found myself in P5 somehow, and I just said, I'm just going to stay here, and there's no point in going back, so I stuck around the front for the last half of the race, and man, oh man, that was, I don't know what it looked like on your broadcast, but from my cockpit, that was an incredible race all around.
Yeah, we saw 2, 3 wide. I mean, you guys really, there was a couple blunders, to be expected. It's a plate race, stuff's going to happen. But you guys really put on a good show. You raced with a lot of respect. Nobody really overly pinched or kind of put yourselves in situations you didn't need to be in. But we saw it come down to that last fuel run. That caution came out right at the outer edge of the fuel window. We talked to Jason about what his mindset was kind of for that last run. Did you have any thought about trying to save it, or did you kind of know right from the beginning it was going to be a splash and go, and we have to nail that pit stop?
No, we talked to our other teammate, Hunter Truel, who did some fuel testing, and he said that there's no way. We had 33 or 34 to go when we pitted, and so we knew. So we just, everyone said they're taking no tires, or I heard this, and we decided to take 2 and 5 gallons of fuel, and I think it worked out for us because we just caught the pack as they were passing us, and we were able to snake our way through for the P1, P3 finish. And again, I can't thank Jason enough. But there was no real plan. It just really worked out like that. I only wanted to lead a lap, maybe on lap 90 or something. I said there was an opportunity. I'd been looking for it for about 15 laps just to lead a lap for those bonus points, and I ended up staying out there. So great race for all concerned, and I want to thank you guys very much for doing this for us.
Yeah, not a problem, man. Definitely, you guys put on a show worth watching. We enjoyed it. You gave us a shout out to us and your team. Anybody else you want to give a quick shout out to before we let you go?
No, I think that's it. Again, Ned Adams, our founder, we've been doing this together for 15 years now, and it's a great place to race. And I think this is pretty much proof of the pudding. There, proof's in the pudding. We did the same thing last night, and we're proud of ourselves for being able to race so clean. But it's a good group of guys. So thanks again, there, Evan and Corey.
All right, thank you, Brian. Congrats on the win, and from what we hear, we'll be probably talking to you guys later in the season.
Oh, for sure. We'll be hiring you guys again real soon. Thanks again.
All right, so that is the top 2 drivers that we were able to speak to. Well, first and third place, rather. We talked to O'Connor, we talked to Brian Rainville, so we're going to wrap up coverage here tonight here on PTR TV. We want to thank everyone who puts helps with these broadcasts. I want to thank Evan for being in the booth with me, Brandon for what he does behind the scenes, and everybody who has helped us out here over the years at PTR TV as we do grow, and a lot of broadcasts coming in the near future here on the channel. And we do have a couple openings up, so you can always check out our website, primetimeracing.tv. We have broadcasts starting at $40 and a bunch of cool little add-ons after that if you are interested in that. So we're going to take a look at that. Some long-time channel sponsors there, Movement Fabrications and Krutz Custom Graphics. And of course, we couldn't do anything without the simulator, iRacing. Obviously, iRacing is the original esport racing game, so couldn't do anything without that. So again, that is tonight's broadcast. It was the Premier Race Network round number 10 at Talladega. We saw a photo finish, a thrilling race by 3/100ths of a second. Brian Rainville taking the checkered flag. So like and subscribe if you have not done so. And that's a night for us. Corey and Evan signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.
Have a good night. We'll see you next time.